Hey guys, it's Seth from Crawlworks. We're here today with the CFMoto UForce 1000 XL. I had put out a couple weeks ago that we were going to do a maintenance video on it for all the people that don't know how to maintenance them, or just, you know, would like a little bit more information on the maintenance procedures, especially what we go through here at Crawlworks Power Sports and how we maintain the vehicles that, you know, come in for customers and so forth and so on. This here happens to be a customer's vehicle that we do have in the shop right here. We're going to go through and we're going to do a front differential service, a rear differential service on it, a transmission service on it, an engine oil service, and then just check over the machine as we go through the services. So we're going to dive right into it. We're going to start by checking the brakes. We put it up on the lift, we pull the wheels and everything off of it. We check the brakes, we check the rotors, we check ball joints and things like that and so forth and so on the machines, just to make sure that they're safe before they go out on the trails, wheel bearings, and so forth and so on. So stay tuned as we dive in and we go through the service procedure of this machine. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to take and we're going to check the brakes. One thing about the CFMotos is, because of the brake pads that they come with from the factory rotors will get grooved. They will get a lip on the top. We do offer a centered brake pad, which is basically like a racing style brake pad. And then we also offer a heavy duty brake pad for these machines for using like farm use, trail use, hunting use, and so forth and so on like that. So the first thing is we're going to just not even worry about the rotor here. We're going to grab here and we're going to wiggle back and forth and try to see if we have any movement whatsoever. That would be movement in the wheel bearing down here if you have any play here whatsoever. As we're wiggling and we're moving this, we're also going to check and see if we have any play within the upper ball joint and the lower ball joint that's down below here. As we take and we wiggle and we move, we have absolutely zero play right there as well. So as we're here, we might as well just check the tie rod as well. And basically what I do is I wiggle it back and forth this way, just to see if there's any play and slop in the tie rod ball joint here. So as far as it goes, we just repeat this procedure from the driver's side to the passenger side. This side looks very well. We did check the brake pads. We looked at the brake pads. The brake pads still have optimal wear. They should be replaced probably in the near future, but not at this point in time. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to drain the front diff fluid out of this machine. It is going to take an 8mm Torx. The ones that we actually use come from Matco. It's actually a Torx / extractor all in one. It will actually remove any bolt that is a Torx or Allen that is 90% stripped, because some of these from the factory are way over tightened. We're just going to take our drain pan, hold it up here, and we're going to let the diff fluid come out. As that drains, I'm going to go ahead and wipe this off. I'm going to look at the metal shavings and how much shavings that I have in here, and then we're going to inspect the fluid for metal shavings and wear. Again, this is the first differential service of this machine, so you will have some metal shavings and everything from the wear-in process or the break-in process of the front differential and the rear differential and the transmission as well. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to actually take a look at the tip of the drain plug here. You can see on the tip of the drain plug all of this here on the tip. That is all metal shavings that comes out of it. So if we take a rag and we wipe that off, we can see on the rag that that's the metal shavings that had come out in the oil. This is a magnetic drain plug, so it will take and trap that all in the bottom of the differential. So I'm going to move the camera and we're going to take a look at the diff fluid now. Now that we're taking a closer look at the differential fluid that just came out of this, we can see that there are some metallics in the oil. Don't be scared about that, because as I said, it is a break-in oil. This oil should be changed roughly at about 600 miles on the first service interval of the machine, and then approximately every 1,000 miles after that, after the initial break-in period. I will show you in a few minutes on the computer the service intervals that is recommended by the manufacturer and all of the specs on the oil and everything that needs to be. After we drain the front differential, we're going to repeat the same process with the rear differential. The rear differential and the front differential are going to have the same style drain plug right there, which again is an 8mm Allen head. We're going to go ahead and remove this Allen head fill plug from the front of the differential. Be careful not to lose the copper crush washer, such as I did, but that's okay. We'll just go ahead and replace it with a new copper crush washer. It is recommended to replace that crush washer after every service, but you're going to go ahead and fill the fluid through this hole until the fluid takes and starts to run back out. That's whenever your differential is full. Okay, now we're under the back of the machine. Underneath the back, in between the two wheels here, is our other drain plug. That drain plug is for the rear differential. And again, this is also going to have a magnetic on it as well. And we'll go ahead and pull that and let that fluid drain as well. And as we can look on top of the drain plug here, we have a lot of metal shavings in the rear end on this one. This machine has over 1,000 miles on it and has not had the fluid serviced on the front or the back as of yet. Okay, now that we have the rear differential fluid drained in this machine, right here in the back, which I'm going to move the camera and I'm going to go ahead and show you right now, will be your differential plug right in there. That's the one that you're going to take and fill the rear differential. You're going to repeat the process as you did the front as well. You're going to fill it until you have fluid coming back out of it. If you pump in a lot of fluid and a lot of fluid's gushing out, just give it a couple seconds, wait, let it equalize out to where it's basically not dripping or running out anymore. So now we're going to go ahead and move forward to draining the engine oil out of this machine. And basically what I do is I drain everything and then I come back afterwards and refill and retop everything off. To get the drain plug out of this, you're going to use an 18mm socket. The drain plug is located right here in this area, directly underneath the side cover here, underneath the machine. So we're going to go ahead and get the oil drained out of this, and we'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, and then one thing, after we drain our engine oil, we're still letting it drain here. We actually let it sit and drain for quite a while before we put the drain plug back in, just to make sure that we get all the old oil, contaminants, or anything else that might be out of there. This drain plug that you pull out of the engine to drain the oil actually also has a magnetic piece inside the drain plug. This is to catch any type of metal shavings or anything that might be inside the engine before it goes up and gets sucked up into the crank and distributed to the bearings, which can cause premature wear to the bearings, the crank, and so forth and so on. Most of the times whenever you remove this nut, this bolt, the copper crush washer sticks to the bottom of the engine and will fall in the pan of the oil after a couple seconds and kind of give you an oh shit moment and being like, oh, what was that? Because it sounds like it came out of the engine. Just remember to fish through your oil, and just to make sure, unless you plan on replacing the copper washer, copper crush gasket, which we do after every service. Also, one other thing is to make sure of is if you pull this out and there is no copper washer on the bolt and you plan on putting a new one on it anyhow, take your finger up through the skid plate and just scrape it on the bottom of the engine to make sure that that copper crush washer is out of there. Sometimes people will actually double up the copper crush washer and your engine starts to leak oil. And that's the last thing we want is our machines pissing in our driveway or in our garage because they're leaking oil, because somebody actually left a copper crush ring up underneath on the engine. Okay, now we're back up here on the top side of the engine here, and we're going to go ahead and move the camera in just a little bit closer because we're going to get ready to take the oil filter out. The oil filter on these are located back here beside this side plate cover. There's a cover that looks like this with 3 bolts that is actually right back here. you want to take those bolts out, which are 3 8mm bolts. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to remove our bolts. Be careful not to drop them. There is a vent hose that is actually held on by a bolt with a clip onto the one section of the oil filter housing. We just take that off and we lay it to the side. Then we can reach back in here, take out our last bolt. As I said, there are 3 bolts. So we're going to go ahead and take the 3 bolts out here on this cover, which is actually going to take and reveal the oil filter that is actually behind here. So once you just go ahead and pull this out, yes, you are going to have oil that is going to drain out of it. So just be cautious of that as well. There is going to be some oil and stuff run down on the side of the motor, but that's okay because we're just going to go ahead and clean that up and wipe that off. You can reach right in here with your fingers and you can grab the filter. It's just a cartridge, and you can slide the cartridge out. This is what the oil filters look like on these. It's just a filter cartridge. So like I said, we just let the oil and everything drain out. We do offer oil filters and full oil change kits for these machines that comes with everything that you need, from the differential fluid, the engine oil, the transmission fluid, front differential, and also an oil filter as well for it. So we're going to let that just drain out for a little bit. I'm the type of person that I like to let my stuff drain for a little while. Other people just hurry up and slap it back together, and that's not the type of person that I am with my machines and stuff. I like to let everything sit and drain out and get all the contaminants, anything out of there, especially all the old oil and everything, because we're going to put in all new fresh. Now, one thing that I do after I take the oil filter out and the oil runs down here on the side of the motor, I do use a brake and parts cleaner. And I'll take and go ahead and spray that whole entire area down to get all of that old oil and everything removed. And basically just clean up the area so we're removing all the oil and everything from that area. Alright, so we got our new filter and everything here. One thing if you're replacing these filters, and you're keeping the stock filter, you're not doing the spin-on filter, you can use a KN152. A KN152 cross-reference is over from a Can-Am, which is the same exact filter that this machine takes. You'll see that this filter here has a metal end and it has the rubber end. The rubber end goes towards the engine this way. This actually slides over the oil distribution inside. So you can go ahead and put it in and then just push it on. And then we're going to reinstall our plate back onto the engine. Okay, so now we're on to the air filter section of checking while we're doing our service. The air filter is located behind here, and we're just going to work some movie magic here because we're just going to take and flip up one clip, and out comes our filter. Now this customer here has replaced their filter, which came factory with a paper filter, with a foam filter from Team MSC. We do have proper unifilters, that is actually unifilters, on our website that are for these machines straight from Unifilter. They are $69.99 for the filter and the clamp. And we also have Maxima oil. These are supposed to be sprayed with oil, and I don't think that this filter has ever been sprayed with oil. All foam filters should be sprayed with a filter oil such as Maxima or Lucas or any other filter, sponge filter oil, to be able to catch the dirt and everything to the filter. That's why these filters are actually lifetime serviceable, because you can take and wash them, dry them, and respray them with the oil. The oil helps catch the dust and the dirt that is sucked in through the intake ports into the air filter box. So the video that we have recorded today is going to be part 1 of a part 2 series on servicing the CFMoto UForce 1000 and the UForce 1000 XL. The specifications and the procedures is identically the same. The only difference is this machine here has an extra seat in the back of it. So I'm glad that you tuned in, you watched the video. If you like it, please like the channel, subscribe, share the channel, share our videos and stuff, and help our channel grow so we can continue to get good information to owners of the CFMoto and everything else. So until part 2 comes out, guys, we'll see you later. We should have that video up within the next few days. Have a good day.